Hello, Internet. Here's the deal. So, about 20 minutes ago, I had grand ambitions to pour myself these little samples of Cinco Sentidos, sent to me by my friend and sample trader, Storm or Storm Static, on the Reddits and the Aficionados Discord server. He sent me these forever ago, and I've been meaning to get to them, and I now am. Unfortunately, I did not realize these were in tiny, tiny little ounce bottles. I understand why, because they're limited releases. When you see the volumes on these, you really start to understand why you would, rep these in little tiny ounce bottles. Everything is more exciting by the ounce than by the pound. But that meant that I couldn't, I didn't have enough to do both write proper notes for these things and also do a video review. So I decided, what the hell, let's just dive into these things with no notes, and God help me, I'm going to try to do justice to them. Okay, so Cinco Sentidos, the project of the El Destilado restaurant in Oaxaca, sort of trying to gather up special bottlings from the best mezcaleros in the region. What we've got here is Papalometl from Amando Alvarado, as well as, I believe, Alvarado Jimenez in Maria Ixcatlan. Sorry. Oh man, this is going to be a long one. Papalometl, of course, is just Tobala. It's also agave potatorum. And accordingly, after this, we have another Tobala, which is actually called Tobala. Cinco Sentidos Tobala by Alberto Martinez from, where is this? Santa Catarina Albarradas, Oaxaca. All of these, I should note, are distilled in clay, which makes me very excited. I love that style. I love clay-distilled mezcals. They are just radically different from any other distillate I can think of in the world. And finally, this is an extremely limited release. Cinco Sentidos Espadin-Topaziche. Don't ask me. I can never say it, but Topaziche is absolutely one of my favorite agaves. It tends to be extremely green, which I love. And here it's being, clay distilled and blended with good old Espadin, which is still the source of some of the best Espadins or mezcals in the world. This was a 71-liter, 90-bottle batch made entirely for Texas. So Storm apparently thought I was worthy of this stuff for some reason. This was made by Tio Pedro Pascual and distilled in, I wrote it down somewhere, Santa Catarina Minas. Okay, let's enough of my babbling. Let's get into these. Again, clay distilled, clay pot distilled. I think double distilled all of them. Wild fermented, obviously, just all traditional stuff. And right off the bat with this Papalometl, it just there's a reason why people love Tobala so much. The fruitiness is just so seductive. But in this case, because it's been distilled in clay, you're just smothering that fruitiness in, river dirt, river silt. Okay, so take a fruit salad. No. I can do better. Take a fruit salad, but also like a fruit salad bubble gum, if anyone's ever made such a thing. So you're getting some melon and some strawberry and maybe some cherry in there. So, some other mixed fruits, but also all of that in bubblegum form. And you're just going to smother it in, river clay. And God, it's lovely. And there's a smoky note as well. There's this is not a smoke-driven mezcal by any means, but there is a fruit smoke thing, for lack of a better term. So just take another batch of the same fruit salad, and instead of turning it into bubble gum, just light it on fire, and that's kind of what you're getting. There's a little bit of vegetation in this, a little kind of a little bit of an avocado shell kind of note here. A little like a carrot green note. Also, maybe some sliced, like fresh sliced carrots as well. Actually, a dash of seawater in there. Absolutely. Very, very briny actually. So we're brining our fruit salad and fruit bubblegum and fruit on fire. A couple of olives, a couple of green olives, and one pickle as well. Like not a whole pickle, like a pickle slice, like you would put on your burger. Actually, some mustard as long as we're at it. We're a little like the whole grain mustard, with the little balls of mustardiness. Oh, God, I love that stuff. That is going on here as well, and just that clayy, general clay minerality, and some just kind of mixed rocks thing going on the palate of this not Tobala but Papalometl is all the things I love in life, really. Oh God, that's good. I have no idea what the price points on these are, but I am going to assume, due to the ancestral methods involved, they are not inexpensive. But I do get the sense this is probably worth the money. Very fresh, very delicious. God, that's the shocking thing about a lot of these clay distilled mezcals. They're extremely drinkable. Let me try this one more time. Kind of falls from the nose, but with the delicious factor turned up by about 10 points. Oh, geez. Okay, so fruit salad, lots of melon, some strawberry, cherry, bubblegum, all the bubblegum all day. Not even fruit bubblegum, just like straight up double bubble in there as well. The smokiness, the kind of fruity smokiness, what is that? Almost like a burned asparagus note in there as well. The minerality, a little bit of a Oriental pipe tobacco note, but pipe smoke from Oriental tobacco, I should say. Brininess not as prominent on the palate actually. A little bit of an olivey hint, but not very strong. Honestly, and just the delicious factor cannot be overstated here. I'm going to give this a little tiny squirt of water, not too big. This is bottled at 44.5% ABV. So what I'm just trying to do is see how it reacts under pressure, because that's not an insignificant part of my scoring. If something just collapses because you give it half a squirt of water, like that tells you something about it. But that is extremely good. Very well made, very delicious. All right, moving on to the second Tobala, the one that's actually labeled a Tobala. I don't know batch numbers or anything about these. I will try to research that and put that below. I'm in a little bit of a hurry here because I just poured these and had to sample them. Totally different nose. Completely different nose. I'm sorry, I'm being silent. I'm trying to get my head around this. Okay, so the herbaceous grassiness factor here is off the charts. yeah, take fresh grass, but also like metallic grass, if that makes sense. Yeah, metal grass, and you're gonna kind of mix those together with just like a ton of seawater, honestly. And that's what this smells like. This is also clay distilled, according to the information I could find, but the clay notes are very subdued in this. Yeah, extremely subdued. There's a little bit of a slightly dairy fermentary note on this, almost a Greek yogurty kind of note, just little, very subtle, just there in the background. Kind of white tea note, oolong as well, actually, a little oolong. The fruit is starting to come out more, but this is this is a more austere kind of style of Tobala. Tobala it just depends on who's making it and the style. It can go a lot of different ways. This is funny. In some ways, this actually reminds me of a lot of like Highland malts. What am I thinking of? Like, some of the little no-name guys like Loch Lomond sometimes has a nose like this, that slightly grassy characteristic. Or even like Temnavolan sometimes. Although this frankly just is acting better than Temnavolan is. Nice, much more austere than the first one, but also less clay driven than the first one. On the palate, oh, okay. Just pitched a whole fistful of peppermint at me. So this is a little bit stronger, 46.4% ABV. It feels a little bit more nippy too. Starts with that kind of fresh, drying, herbaceous note, then opens up and becomes much more minerally and just pepperminty in the back. Like, we're not talking like fake, peppermint candy notes here. This is like fresh peppermint that you grew in a garden. It's very green. The creaminess of this also needs to be stated. In lots of ways, this does actually remind me a lot of, not recently, but a lot of sort of the old school Highland malt bottlings that I've had, back 10 years ago, like the little Gordon and MacPhail releases they would do on occasion that would get very sort of green and herbaceous like this. Oh, it's nice though. What this is doing, that those aren't, is the mouthfeel factor. That's really where the clay distillation is coming in, more so than overt clay flavors. Is it just feels very clean, just very creamy and mouthfilling. More austere than the first one. I don't think I like it as much, but we'll see how it behaves with water. Yeah, grass, the metal thing, the peppermint, seawater. Not a lot of bubblegum. A little bit of a, and then just like throw some like just good Inverness style malt whiskey in there, and some tea, white tea, aromatic tea, little oolong. It's nice, but it's not killing me as much as the first one does. Like the delicious factor and the overt clay character on this is just kind of winning me over a little bit more. All right, but I'm going to add some water to this and we'll come back to it. And finally, the exclusive among exclusives. This is the Espadin-Topaziche, whatever. Leave me. It's been a long day. So here we go. Here's my little sample of this. Also clay distilled. Exclusive to Texas. I can smell it from here. That is lovely. Okay, where do I start with this? Oh man, that is nice. So let's start with that. It is extremely nice. This smells extremely nice. It smells waxy and clay. It's almost like it's the best scented candle you have ever smelled. So imagine like this is, you walk into Bed Bath & Beyond. There's some scented candles, but then there's like, God has made himself a scented candle and put it down there and you smell it. This is kind of what it smells like. So I'm getting clay, fresh yogurt, like not Greek yogurt, just standard like nice Indian yogurt this time. And then the Espadin notes kind of start to come out, the green notes. We're getting some celery in there, a little Brussels sprout. The seawater, again, that's a common feature in these. Floral notes, like a whole bag of flowers, dried flowers. And then like this sort of the dairy sour. I've already mentioned the yogurt, but also just a little bit of a citron note, much older citrus note. Yeah, a little bit of a vinegar note too. Very mild vinegar, like a cane vinegar or something. In the back there, and it is there's a little bit of smoke at play too. A little bit of like just good old fashioned charcoal briquettes in there. That is absolutely lovely. I will never be able to source a bottle of this, and that makes me sad. But let's try a little bit. Fucking mezcal. Okay, here. Mezcal is kind of the Burgundy of the spirits world, in that you try 3 or 4 of different styles, and you're like, okay, this is fine. This is fine. I'm into this. These are nice. These are good. I don't see what all the fuss is about. Why are people spending $200, $300 on bottles of this stuff? And then you try one like this, and like you're just going to be drinking mezcal for the rest of your life, trying to chase, and spending enormous amounts of money on things which, how can they like, bother selling you a bottle of that? Because like you've had something like this. This is really good. Let me shut up about how good it is and actually describe it. Extremely creamy, extremely full in the mouthfeel. Has this delicious, oh God, almost a chocolatey sweetness to it, mixed with, dairy sour yogurt, little citron in there, and then river clay, sort of rolling in. It's actually extremely delicate. There's a little white pepper in there, but it's not, it's not attacking me. This is 48.3%, by far the strongest of this lot, and I am not feeling it at all. This is dangerous. Like this one is really drinkable, or the first one is really drinkable. This one is like, you could, I mean, if you could afford it, you could get really screwed up in this really fast. It's just, there's not if you step back from this, there isn't a whole lot of different flavors going on. Let's put it that way. But what's there is just integrated perfectly. It's elegant and silky and just like this is agave does this. Like there's plenty of ways to make complex distillate, right? But the silkiness, the this is something that agave just does extremely well. And this marriage of like silk, but at the same time extreme, like an extreme vegetal characteristic. There's a little bit of herbaceousness on this. Some 3-leaf clovers. I feel like I'm eating some of those a little bit, but they're nice. Little oregano in there too. Man, this is good. Screw you, Storm. Why did you send me these? I'm never gonna be able to buy a bottle of any of this. Okay, let's add a little squirt of water to this too. Go back through them again and see if I can give them the score on the spot. All right, back to the Papalometl. Becomes a little bit more sharp on the nose, actually. There's a little less bubblegummy. There's a aggressive wild fruit aspect coming out now. Reminds me a little bit of like a, what is that? Like a almost a northern Italian wine, like a almost a not quite Nebbiolo, like a Langhe Rosso, like a mixed grape kind of note. Intense red wine characteristics starting to come out, but lighter style of red wine, a little aggressive. Minerality is all in my face. Smoked rocks. The seawater is still there. The olives are still there. It's become more serious, a little more austere, and I'm kind of into that. Clay is still there as well, but it's receded a little bit in favor of this newer sort of, aggressive in-my-face rocks and sort of Piedmont red wine note. On the palate, okay. So the clay is still there, but sort of alongside the clay, you're also getting just piles of like stone dust and black pepper, and almost like what is that? Like almost like a fruit candy aspect to this. Yeah, fruit bubblegum, but also like the fruit candy thing. The what the hell? What's the name of that? The whatever. Let's just go with fruit candy for now. But minerally at the same time. The sharpness, the almost tart aggressiveness on the nose is not there on the palate. The palate is much closer to where it was before I added water than the nose is. Maybe not as friendly drinking as it was before I added water, but it's actually gotten a little bit more complex. I like this a lot. This is quite good, quite impressive. What I'm going to score this is not going to get a low score. Let's put it that way. 89 minimum. Let's see if I can get up higher than that. Yeah, let's give this a 90. It deserves it. I mean, it's just, it's really playing its cards well. The fruitiness, the bubblegummy aspect of the Tobala and is right there, but the clay nature of the distillation is coming in to kind of cut that off, and say, hang on there, we're gonna be more serious. We're gonna be a little more savory, and it just works. Real good. 90 points out of 100. I cannot imagine this is inexpensive, but you're probably getting what you're paying for it. Moving on to the Cinco Sentidos Tobala. Tobala, whatever. Not a whole lot of change on the nose from before the squirt of water. The peppermint and a little bit of a muddy note comes out more. Yeah, like just straight up mud and peppermint. But again, not fakey peppermint essence, not peppermint candy. This is the actual plants. That's most of what I'm getting. Also the brininess is very prominent. Right on the palate. Also, still not a huge amount of development there. Still reminds me of a whole lot of Highland whiskeys released by Gordon and MacPhail circa 10, 12 years ago. And that's okay because I like those, and this is doing a better job of that profile than those were. Glencadam. That's what this reminds me of. Glenfucking-Cadam. This is one of the best Glencadams I've ever had, actually. Minty, mineral, seawatery, maritime. So if you want your Tobala to be, really fruity and accessible and nice and smooth, and this is not the one for you. This is not a good buy. But if you want your Tobala to be like an Eastern Highlands Scotch malt, this is a terrific option. I like this a lot. Not as much as the first one. I would give this, what would I give this? 87 minimum. Let's see if I can get it up from there. Can I get it up to 88? No. I can get it to 87 plus. The finish is really long, and it's really on the finish the creamy clay nature of this starts to come out, and it's really where I was already kind of won over on this before then, but it's really the finish that wins me over. So let's go 87 plus on this. If these are the same price, I would go for this one. I'm sorry, for the first one, the Papalometl, but price, comparison aside, this Tobala is really quite nice. But again, if you're looking for fruitiness, if you're looking for the fruit, this is not your best option. All right, moving on to the back to the Espadin-Topaziche. Whatever. Put your comments down below on how you're unsubscribing, because I cannot pronounce sort of native Mexican words. Also doesn't develop a whole lot on the nose with water, which I'm surprised by. I was expecting this to actually sort of open up a little bit more. But it doesn't. It brings out the sort of vinegary, yogurty notes a little bit more. But otherwise, it feels like I'm sampling very much kind of the same thing. which is fine. I was really enjoying that same thing. Yeah, the tartness, the tanginess. The slightly vegetal aspect coming. I guess I'm assuming that's coming from the Espadin. Well, I mean, it could be from the Tobaziche, just whatever, as well. But it's really playing in nicely here. This is a mezcal where all the different components are really, just right in sync, kind of rolling into each other. That's also a sort of sign of clay distillation. Like, none of the individual components are that distinct. They're all kind of rolling into each other. On the palate, yeah, this is really good. I would be shocked if this wasn't sold out already. Oh, the fruity sweetness on the finish, that it's actually shocked. Like it finishes initially very kind of dry and dominated by the minerality, and then after a couple of seconds, like the fruitiness, the sweetness just rolls right on in. Oh, that is a really nice development. Kind of herbaceous and green on the front. Mineral driven and green. And then, like, you go through a wall of black pepper as well. And then the fruit starts to show up. Oh, that's really nice. Yeah, this is good. This is 90 points minimum. What can I get? Can I get above that? Probably. I don't think I can get above 92. 92 would be my ceiling on this. It's not that good. Again, as I said, there's not. You look at this from 10,000 feet. There isn't a whole huge range of flavors going on here. It's really limited to a pretty small, region of different flavors that are kind of interacting and playing off each other. But God, does it work well. Let's go 91 on this. I'm going to go 91 points. This is extremely good. If you can find a bottle and it's not sort of extortionately priced, I would buy it. Yeah, and that's kind of all I got to say about this. Let me finish this off. Yep. This is the sort of mezcal that would doom someone if you gave it to them, and they would just be spending hundreds of dollars on mezcal for the rest of their lives, and never quite getting something to, or obviously sometimes occasionally getting something that would measure up to this, but diminishing returns in any case. Yeah, these are all very, very, very good. Well done by Storm. So I should mention, for some reason I neglected to mention this in the introduction. Storm is a rep. He works for PM Spirits, and they are the folks bringing this stuff in. So he is by no means a neutral party in this. But I am, because I do work at a store, but there is no way they're bringing in a line like this. So I am not unduly influenced. But he was very clever to send these damn things to me, because I really want people to try stuff like this. This is really good. This lineup kind of shows in force the power of mezcal ancestral, and these sort of more rustic varietals of Espadin, or about agave. Sorry, it's been a long day. Yeah, so 90 points, 87 plus, I think it was, and 91. And I'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching. I hope this was a little bit educational and not too babbly. All right, thanks for watching and cheers.